Hey folks, how's it going? Welcome back to another Mythbusters Monday, where I'm taking a look at a commonly perceived wisdom in the audio industry and discussing why it is or why it may not be true. Today, I'm tackling what I think is probably one of the biggest topics in audio, and one that you'll read in more or less every other post on video comments, forums, and those wonderful Facebook groups that everyone knows and loves. There are no rules. Let me know what you think about that statement in the comments now, and then when you've watched the video, maybe comment on that comment and let me know if what I've said has changed your mind at all, or if you agree with me. Let's go. The issue I have with this statement is really that those who say it may as well precede it with saying, trust me, because it suggests that A, the person saying it has tried everything and is a font of all knowledge, and B, they're basically saying, come on, you know the rules, there are no rules, which is kind of weird. There being no rules has become the biggest rule in audio, and I just think it's said with disregard for the topic at hand and promotes the idea that you shouldn't follow the guidelines. That's a big factor here, the guidelines. There are certainly guidelines, so let's explore them. Really, the first most fundamental rule in audio is don't clip, and I'm not sure anyone would disagree with you there, other than the Beatles when they overloaded the desk preamp to get that distorted guitar sound at the start of Revolution. Or maybe Trent Reznor on every single song he's ever done. Or maybe all those other people who broke that rule for a specific purpose. Yes, it's a guideline. Don't clip your input because it will bite you further down the line. But I personally don't think that even the most fundamental of rules, like don't clip, should be followed just 99% of the time. If I'm recording an orchestra, I'm probably going to get shouted at for clipping a preamp when pristine sonic quality is the desired outcome. But if I'm recording a metal singer and I need an absolutely disgusting sound for a specific effect, I might just start clipping that preamp. Why not? Leaving aside the 4 million plugin manufacturers who have now made clippers for us to use and abuse in our mixes, I know it's not quite the same thing, but still, you just can't say that you should always follow this rule. Just in the same way as you can't say there are no rules, because there are, or rather, there are guidelines. Who says I can't use an 1176 all buttons in on a delicate violin solo? Well, maybe those who already know it's going to sound pretty weird, probably. But this is the key thing with these arguments. There are rules that transcend artistic choice of which microphone or which compressor you should use. And here's a few of them just to prove a point. Always make sure your digital equipment is properly synchronized. Always back up your sessions. Always tune your guitar before a take. The list goes on, really. There are rules, but there are also artistic decisions. Many people love to tell you that when EQing, you should always cut but not boost. Although I'm actually hearing that less and less these days. It's simply not true 100% of the time. Probably cut before you boost, but still, if it needs a boost, I'm going to boost it. This is the there are no rules phrase that invariably comes from the keyboards of the same people who hate the sound of the snare on Metallica's Saint Anger. Lars thought there were no rules, and look how that worked out. I think we can all agree that the general rule with snare drums is that they should in some way resemble a snare drum. There are no rules, just comments on a specific side of the musical equation, and it's kind of the wrong side for us tech lot to be bothering with. It's the creative side there are no rules for. Use notes outside the key, use chords outside the key, put a bar of 7/8 in a waltz, because why not? Use that pristine mastering EQ on a snare drum and put your hi-hat mic through an amp sim. It'll be fun. The issues really come when people then take that way of thinking and transfer them to the more cut and dry side of things that we deal with in this audio engineering world. You want to export your audiobook at -6 LUFS because it sounds so cool? Crack on, but it's going to get sent back and you'll look like a pillock. Want to have your vocalist sing right up on the grill of an old ribbon mic because you like the character? Well, go for it, but don't come crying to me when the ribbon bends and you can't use it anymore. The issue is that there are rules, there are most definitely rules, and they're there to make sure stuff is done in the right way, so that on the creative side, where the rules are more flexible, you can do what you want. You can't use that 1176 on all buttons in on your delicate violin solo if you didn't first clock all your digital equipment and you now have crackles and pops all over the place. It's not going to be as effective if you clip the input because already you've got a load of distortion. And that ribbon mic that you want to record it with sounds like garbage because you used it on a metal vocalist last week and now you can't work out why it's so noisy and sounds awful. So yes, there are rules. Stop telling me there aren't. I don't care if you want to use an Audix D6 as a hi-hat mic, there aren't any rules for that, because why would anyone make one and how are they going to enforce it? Just understand that where there need to be rules, the rules are probably there for a reason. And if one more person tells me there are no rules in any audio or music at all, we're going to fall out. But don't just take my word for it. Let me know what you think. What is the most there are no rulesy thing you can think of? And where do you definitely think there needs to be a rule in audio? I think the digital gear sync one is pretty faultless, to be honest. Anyway, let me know. Take care.